Welcome to the Sisterly Submitted podcast, dedicated to changing the narrative about dating after 40. If you're interested in candid, unfiltered conversations between men and women, then you found your people. This is the podcast for you.
Welcome. We're your hosts, Diane and Dawn, hopeful romantics, changing the narrative about love after 40. Welcome, Darryl. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're excited to have our friend and fellow Hamptonian, Darryl Armstrong, with us on the podcast today.
Hello. Hello, ladies.
Welcome, Darryl. It's good to see you. It's great to have you as our guest on the podcast. We would love to know about your, just a little bit about yourself. Tell us about you. And, there are a lot of people out here who just are looking, because Darryl, he's one of those guys that is he's the guy. He's the guy. He's that guy. The one that everybody says they want. He checks it off, educated, owns his own business. He's that guy, the one that every woman is looking for out here. So Darryl, tell us a little bit about your growing up, your background, what life was like, and just so that we know who you are.
Well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you having me here, and congratulations on your first show. I know it's going to be extremely successful.
Thank you.
I grew up in North Carolina and New Jersey, so I joke around with a lot of people I say that I'm a city boy with country tendencies. I was very fortunate to have a strong upbringing with my grandparents and my mother's 5 brothers and 6 sisters. So it's been an extreme advantage for me growing up to see all the love that comes within a big family. And that is what grounded me in love. I was able to experience great, family love and family interaction and just that feeling of closeness. And they were my examples of, what love should be and what love should be about. So I grew up in that type of environment. And a little bit later, 6th grade, 7th grade, I had the opportunity to go live with my mother in New Jersey and my new stepfather. And New Jersey taught me some good, hard lessons that every country boy should learn very quickly. And actually, I had met my first love when I moved to New Jersey in 6th grade. And her name was Karen, and she was a sister, of course. But I got into a fight with Ricky Wilson over Karen because I was a country boy who had a strong accent and curly hair. And I had to fight this guy every day because, Karen was, quote unquote, his girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
So I found that dynamic to be pretty interesting at that age that, I could experience, this feeling of love that I would witness with my grandparents and how they interact. And, I didn't really know what it was, but I just know that every time I saw her and would talk to her, I liked it and it was fun. So growing up, in the city and, later I had the good fortune to attend Hampton University.
Woo, woo.
Shout out to Hampton.
HU.
It was one of the greatest experiences that I could ever have. And I was very fortunate to do so. And I always found that to be an interesting dynamic because the ratio of women to men was a little bit unfair and uneven.
Kind of like here in Atlanta now.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting dynamic. So I had a lot of fun. I had a good time, but I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur because that's what my grandfather was. We owned several businesses in the Carolina area, and that's all I witnessed. So my whole drive was about becoming an entrepreneur. I did work at corporate America. I worked at Nike for 7 years, and then I left Nike to start my own company. I've been running my own company for 30 years. Atlanta Brand Central is a merchandising company, and We are currently 6 to 7 staff members, and we do about $2 to $3 million a year. And we primarily do merchandise for companies like the Atlanta Braves, the Texas Rangers, now the Dallas Cowboys, a few other sports clients, as well as government clients here in Atlanta. We've worked on several major campaigns, Stacey Abrams, mayor of Atlanta, and so forth. And that's been my focus for the last 30 years. So there really hasn't been a lot of time for love. And the unfortunate thing is that in my 20s and 30s, I broke a lot of hearts. And, I regret that because, I've grown to a level where it's more about breaking stereotypes than breaking hearts. And, just like you, I'm a hopeful romantic.
Okay.
I believe in that Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee type of love.
Sir.
Or a Jay-Z, Beyonce, I hate to say that, but it's just one of those things where we should take care of each other. That's the way I see it.
Sure.
And, as I grow throughout, my matriculation as a man, it's important for me to be conscious of how I'm interacting with our sisters.
I have a question. With your grandmother and your grandfather, was there affection displayed between your grandparents? Or was that, because I know you got the entrepreneurial part from your grandfather, but what did love look like? Did you see him kiss her? Was there that romance that sometimes you see on television?
Yes, there was. And I was really, really young when my grandmother tragically died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I got to witness the hurt and pain of my grandfather. He totally immersed himself in work. But from what I remember and from what my aunts and uncles talk about, he loved her and the ground that she walked on. They were very affectionate. They were two peas in a pod. And that example stuck with me. And from what I remember, they would sit and talk for hours. And I would go in and, try to get some attention, but they were just talking for hours. So it gave me the feeling that they were best friends. So that was just a really good example for me.
So how has your model for what you thought love should feel and look like changed over the years?
Well, it's been more important for me to focus on being in love instead of looking for love. And initially, I wasn't really focused on that. I was focused on building a business. And I thought and believed that was the most important thing. The love can come later. Grave mistake, a regretful mistake. Because having to do it all over again, I would have gone for the love and we would have built the business together. And I had that option. And, just to the point where, the sister that I was with, the love of my life, said, hey, we can do this together. And I opted to go straight entrepreneur. I mean, I was set on getting to this place and then we can figure out the rest later. So I've changed in that I value relationships and I won't begin a relationship with a woman until I know that this is someone I want to grow and be with, because I'm giving up my thirst to be this type of entrepreneur for love.
Interesting. Great segue, because today we're exploring the notion of having it all. Can you have love and can you have success in business? And so that's what our topic is today.
Yes. Yes, you can. You can have it all. I'm blessed now that I'm in a position that helps, because pretty much if I want to go to see a concert in Dallas and, go with the young lady that I'm dating, we can do that. And not to say that that's the important thing, but you're just not limited to all the things that you can do together and explore together. You can get in a car and drive for 2 hours and turn the radio up loud and, sing together and get to know each other and become friends. And the dynamic of getting to know someone at this age is a luxury, because you realize that all the things that you thought about and did when you're younger, they don't matter anymore.
Interesting. So we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, and we'll come right back.
If you were offered the key to unlock the future of your dreams, a life filled with love, prosperity, and pure joy, would you take it? Ruth E. Daniels has developed a plan with the tools you need to unlock the potential within and manifest your dreams. This practical plan, including Daniel's manifesting guide, The Glamorous Life, her book of affirmations, and the Glamorous Life Journal, work in tandem to teach you step by step how to manifest love, wealth, and a life of bliss. Order the Glamorous Life set today and manifest the extraordinary life you deserve.
Welcome back, Darryl. So Darryl's entrepreneurial journey is featured in The Glamorous Life. It's Dwight's story, a man who manifested his dreams and worked to accomplish his goals. Can you tell us how and when you decided that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Yes, I saw my grandfather and my family working in our family businesses. And one day, my grandfather took me to the store and he brought me a pair of boots. And these were the greatest work boots you could ever have in your life. And he would take me around with him when he was either delivering a new car to one of our clients, or when he was towing someone, or when he was picking up something for our general store. And I was his assistant. So right then and there, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I technically had a job since I was in 6th grade. So I worked at a bike shop. I wanted to own the bike shop. I worked at a clothing store, a Korean clothing store. I learned Korean, and I wanted to work and buy other stores at that age. So I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since an early age, because I felt that there was a freedom, and I felt that there was a lot of independence. So that's where my focus has been. And that's why I was so focused, or one could say obsessed, with being an entrepreneur versus being in love. So it was a sacrifice.
So can you tell us about a time that you may have chosen entrepreneurship over love?
Well, I'd say a little over 20 years ago, I had the woman that I should have married. And I chose being an entrepreneur over getting married. Part of that was I was afraid because I didn't know what marriage meant. I thought that it meant I'd had to give up my entrepreneurial dream. And as I said before, not realizing all this brilliant sister did was enhance me and make me better. Now, I believe in my heart, had I stayed the course with her, I would be retired right now and a multi-millionaire. Because that's how much strength, support, and love that she gave. And so, that's a mistake that I'll never make again in life.
Okay. What's the biggest risk you took?
The biggest risk I took was moving to Atlanta without a job because I wanted to work for Nike.
Wow.
So I quit my job on Wall Street and I moved to Atlanta after winning a radio station contest, 98.7 KISS. Shout out to Ken Spiderweb if you're listening. Thank you. So I won the radio contest, had no job. That was about $6,000. To me, it was $1 million. And this was in the early 90s. I knew the Olympics was coming to Atlanta. So I packed my 79 Toyota and I moved to Atlanta with no job. And so that was one of the biggest risks I ever took in my life.
What about regrets? Is the one we just heard about, is that your biggest regret? Or?
No, my biggest regrets, I only have a couple, but the one that I think about every now and then is not truly integrating myself within the Nike culture, because I was a rebel and I felt that I was one of the few African Americans at that time. And because of the interaction I had with some management, it was a rough scenario because these particular managers didn't understand the sensibilities of our people. And that rubbed me the wrong way. And I wish I would have integrated myself into that culture, because I believe that I would have been able to hire more individuals and be an advantage for Hamptonians or other students from HBCUs, and be able to get more people that look like me.
Sure.
So, but I pretty much fired myself and left. But it was one of the best things that could have happened to me, because I started my own company, and I'm doing
The
pretty
rest
good.
is history, right?
Rest is history, right? So it's a regret, but it's a lesson. It's a lesson.
Right.
So you think about it, but I can't. I don't have a DeLorean for you movie nerds. I can't go back in time and change anything. And so, you just think about it and do better.
Okay, we're gonna lighten the mood a bit.
Okay.
And we're gonna play a little game.
Sure.
It's called This or That. Can we put 15 seconds on the clock? All right. And we're gonna give you two choices, and you choose the one that resonates most with you. All right.
Be honest. We want the honest answer,
Sure.
not the one.
What you see is what you get.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
And
Classy or ratchet?
Ratchet classy.
Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
City or suburbs?
City.
Beyonce or Janet?
Janet all day.
Hip hop or rap?
Hip hop.
Golf or basketball? Ooh.
Basketball.
All right. 80s or 90s?
80s.
BBL or homegrown?
Homegrown.
Sugar or salt and grits?
Neither.
Tupac or Biggie?
Okay, that's it.
All right.
Biggie.
Last one.
Biggie.
I got
Biggie all day, every day.
Okay. Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Sex calendar, twice a week or twice a month?
Every day.
Good answer. Okay.
If you feel it, you feel it. And that's the thing. I just want to say, I want to look in the camera and say this. From a brother to sisters, we cannot get caught up in stereotypes or misconceptions that are out here to fool us or keep us from each other. Because if you look back in history, the real history, you'll see the fact that we once loved each other, we held hands, we treated each other with respect. And when you're loving someone and you're feeling someone, right, every day is not ridiculous, but you have to be sensitive and respectful of that other person, because you're not in a relationship by yourself. So I just want to just promote the fact that you just have to be in tune with that person. But, from everything that I read, sex is good for you. And, if you respect and love the person you're with,
It is healthy. And that's one thing that we don't talk about, because some people have more of a drive than others.
Right.
And sometimes you're not compatible in that way.
Right.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Two people that come together, that's very important. And we don't talk about that like in first date or the second date. We
Sure.
talk about everything else, but every now and then we have to talk about what really matters in relationships. And that's something that's key.
It's the key.
Yeah.
But see, the thing too, from my perspective, if you're feeling me, I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're feeling me, I need to know. I need to come home and see you laying up in my t-shirt saying, what took you so long to get home? You won't ever have to worry about me coming home early again. But you have to, and you don't have to, but it's important to be open and be, free with the sister that you're with.
So one of the things too that people over 40 have issues with is sometimes women start to lose their drive. Sometimes men start to lose their drive or have, ED and things like that. And I think that's another thing that we have to start talking about, because people have to understand that, maybe this is something that I'm going to have to deal with. And is it something that you can deal with? I mean, that's something that we have to really figure out, for ourselves. If I have a sex drive and I need sex every day and my partner is having an issue, how do
Menopause.
how
sure.
do I, how do we keep the love alive and that kind of thing? And so that's, I think, a issue. Thankfully, not for us here, but I guess. But it could be for people in our age group. I mean, I think it's definitely something that is ignored a lot.
Well, this is going to sound wild in a way, but if you think about the song, first the classic song with Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, you're all that I need, and I care for you, and and there's another song, Ain't No Mountain High, No Valley Low, maybe the same one, but Mary J. Blige did it with Method Man,
right?
And the point I'm making is, it doesn't matter what's going on with the woman that you're with or the woman that I'm with. It doesn't matter, because it's not all about sex. It's about what's important to her. How does she feel today? What do I need to do to make sure that she's okay? And once that's taken care of, then fine. I can't be selfish. If you're selfish, then you don't need to be in a relationship, in my opinion.
Right.
So I'd rather be alone than to force my feeling or my way on someone else, because it's not fair. And it's just not right. And that's not a relationship to me, and, no, we're not robots, and everybody has challenges, right? So you have to accept.
So what are you doing differently now to get the life that you desire? Like, you feel like you made some choices, you have some regrets, but now, today, it's a different day.
Yes. Everything that I wanted to do as a kid, I'm doing.
Okay.
There's no second thought about it. There's, one of the things that I've been blessed and extremely proud of as an entrepreneur, that I was able to retire my mother and help my family in any way that any of them could ever want or desire. So all that's been out of the way for quite some time. So all the toys and anything that I wanted to do as a child, I'm doing them, and I'm having fun, and I'm living life. And I don't date seriously. I have fun. But I am socially changing, because the dynamics of my business is changing. And because we're blessed with making more revenue, it gives me the opportunity to do more things socially. And that to me is a huge blessing, because, it's affording me the opportunity to truly live my dream. That's one of my mantras, living the dream. I say that every day, and every day I get up in the morning, I thank God to allow me to wear Jordans, sneakers, and T-shirts, and be able to do what we do on a daily basis.
It's a blessing, for sure.
For sure.
So there's a chapter in The Glamorous Life entitled The Balancing Act. So it's kind of about this. And they encourage people to find time for love, make time for love. And so it sounds like that's one of the things that you're doing maybe now?
I'm just starting to.
The other thing they talk about in that chapter is just doing things to protect your time together, like focus, like the song Her kind of made me think of that, like focus on me. She's really feeling good that her guy is all about, he's on his grind and he's taking care of home, but she's like, can you just pay me a little bit of attention? And so that's like that, that age old story, like my guy is busy, but he's on his grind, and that's great. But this guy over here, he's calling me all the time, but he's broke because he doesn't have anything, and he's always available because he doesn't have anything going on in his life. And so, that is also something that men have to deal with. There are women that are on their grind. And one of the questions we wanted to find out is, like, are you looking for someone who sort of matches your energy, a boss kind of, or are you looking for more of a traditional go along to get along type?
I do not want a boss. I don't have a boss. I have one mother. Barbara Armstrong is a saint. She's the only mother I have. I don't want a boss. You do well at work and you're successful, God bless you. I'll help you. I'll stay up late at night and grade your papers. I'll help you on the Henson case that you have to go in and give a presentation. I'll yellow out all the areas that you miss. I'm with you. Heathcliff, Huxtable, and Claire. I'm with you. But I'm a man's man. I drink whiskey. I don't suffer fools. And I don't want a boss for a woman. I just, and you're not behind me. You're not in front of me without question. You're right next to me. And the whole thing is that some women that I've dated in the past have brought their demeanor for the courtroom, for the doctor's office, wherever they are successful into our relationship. And that's a little unfair. I am the type of brother is when I'm intentional. I know you like strawberries and whatever it is, and I'm going to make sure that you have that every day for the rest of your life, whenever you least expect it. Or I know you like to go to Jamaica, and when you least expect it, knowing that you are stressed at work, I'm going to book a ticket and make sure that you're gone and all your responsibilities are taken care of. So being attentive is not the challenge for me. It's more of a timing thing. And I'm not looking. I asked God to bring me what he felt that I needed. And all I'm doing is focusing on being the best man that I can be. And in doing that, when my house is ordered, then somebody will knock on the door and I'll say, come on in. Make yourself at home.
You got to give out your address so they'll know.
Negative. No address. Right. But I will make sure that they are gainfully employed. I'm not taking care of anybody. And, if there's a lot of scenarios out here and there's a lot of relationships, and our relationships especially, that have been messed up by reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
They've been messed up by propaganda. They've also been messed up by the intentional, as I say, poison that's injected in our community through music. If you listen to songs, some in the 90s, but more so, as they say back in the day, you talk about love. You're talking about my best friend and missing you and all that. Now I don't even want to get into it. Yeah. And that's something that's lost. So looking at love over 50, over 40, all I can do is still be that hopeless romantic that you stress within your mission, because it's there. Hopeful. And you have to be patient.
Yes.
You have to be patient. We have to be patient with each other.
Right. So what advice would you give to your 25 or 26-year-old self about, just dreaming and, the future, having success and love in business?
I would say build it together. I would say don't be afraid. Be patient and build it together. And it's a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. And, it's not going to happen tomorrow. The unfortunate thing about what's going on with me now and all the blessings that I get and have is that people only see this part of it. They don't see the 30 years of what happened. So I had friends and, other individuals or associates, all they would call me, oh, there's a t-shirt guy. And putting you in a certain place.
Sure.
But I welcome it because I believe it was Coco Gauff. As I was sitting in the U.S. Open this year to see Coco Gauff win, I was reminded live that she said when others were throwing water on me or whatever, they thought it was dampening my spirit, but it was truly gasoline that was fueling my passion. And I feel the same way. And I would tell myself, don't worry about the naysayers. Just take things slow and just understand that you'll get there. You don't have to sacrifice love. You don't have to give up what you dream to do. It would be a simpler, easier ride, especially when you have a strong, intelligent sister with you who believes in you and wants nothing more than to be with you.
Support you. That's
and
great.
Support you.
So for those ladies that are interested, give them some tips about how to, so there are a lot of women, like Dawn said, that are looking, they're ready for love. but they want to hear from a man's point of view, like, what am I doing wrong? What could I be doing differently? And so can you give some tips on just sort of Darryl Armstrong's advice on how to land a great guy?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not the spokesperson for black men.
Right,
But,
of course.
But being interested and being genuine in what the guy that you're dating or courting or whatever you want to say, feeling, whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that he likes Bruce Lee, every now and then pick up the phone and say, hey, there's a Bruce Lee film festival next week and I got us tickets. You're going to trip him out because a lot of women now, they're about the bag.
Yeah.
And what they don't understand, if that they are genuine and they are attentive to their man, it goes a long way. And just be real. Just be real. You don't have to fake it. And you know, you have your own money. You are strong. You're a boss. Every boss that I know is independent. They have their own money. They don't need a guy's money. And so come at it honestly. Have some good bourbon in your house. Have things that a guy likes that you know in your house. If you know he likes Blue Moon, you should have a case in your house when he comes to visit. You know, I mean, it's simple. It's not really that complicated. Unfortunately, I'm not stereotyping anyone, but unfortunately, in some cases that I've experienced, there's just not a genuine care or interest in me. As they would say, you know, I'm not Caribbean or West Indian, but some women just aren't checking for me, and that's okay. But don't fake it and don't go out with me just to get a meal or whatever, because you're a boss. You can pay for your own meal. You pay your own mortgage. Don't call me and say, well, I need a little help, you know, on what, because if you're a boss and if you're doing what you're doing,
Right.
You don't need my help. So I would say be genuine. I would say know and learn what this man is interested in. And just every now and then it wouldn't hurt you to say, hey, you know, let's do something. Pick up the phone and ask him to do something with you. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just say, I was thinking about you today. I wanted to hang out with you. Let's just go hang out at the park or whatever it is. Because that shows him that you want to do things with him.
Sure.
And you can't be thirsty. Part of it is, part of the thrill is the chase. Don't play yourself. But if a man is interested in you, he will, and I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to keep it clean. He will effing turn the earth upside down to be with you. So just know that. If he's interested. If he's not interested, thank you for coming. God bless you. Good night. Straight up. Because I just believe that your sanity, your self-worth is much more than what you may perceive as love for some guy.
Sure.
And it's not all about that. Because I have to believe that God will put me in the right position to make the right decision at the right time.
So, Darryl, do you desire to be married? Like, do you want to have a life partner, like married? So, as a eligible bachelor here in Atlanta, there's so many Black women, as you said, so many bosses here. You know, just all kinds of Black women available, and and many of which don't go out to the clubs. They don't know where to go. Everybody's online looking for love. What would you say would be that thing that's going to get you to go across that line, to marry? Is it the right person? Is it at the right time? What do you think is going to happen to really kind of like say, I'm going to do it now?
Well, I can't speak or be a spokesman for all men, but for me, it's timing. It's, I only need one. I only need one woman. One good one, one strong one smart one beautiful one. Inside beauty is more important than outside beauty.
So she can wear hair rollers and stuff.
I didn't get into all that. Here's another thing. In the name of Jesus, get a manicure and pedicure and get your hair done. Stay on point. In the name of Jesus, stay on point. Get a look, I'll buy you a month or 2 months. I'll get your hair done for you. But just stay on point. Just stay on point because, as I said, when I come home after a trip and I'm out there slaying dragons and I'm bringing home whatever, and you had a long day at work and you understand that I'm coming home from a long trip and you're sitting in there with your nails done, your hair, you smell good, it's on. Mm-hmm. So that's but you should be doing that for yourself anyway.
Right.
That's standard. Yeah. So for me, now I do a lot and I go all the time. And I just believe that it's a matter of circumstance. It's a matter of timing. And as I start to do things socially and network in that environment, I believe that I will bump into who that person is. I mean, so I was at Martha's Vineyard for the whole month of August. And in that time, in the whole month of August, I had the good fortune to interact with a lot of intelligent, smart sisters. And we're friends. And for me, it's important to be your friend. Sure. It's important for you to like me and me to like you because I want to look forward to talking to you. Mm-hmm. I want to be sitting, working, thinking about whatever, and stop in the middle and say, damn, I just want to talk to her.
Like your grandparents.
Like my grandparents. Sat for hours. And I'll tell you a story from, I say 10 years ago. Beautiful sister. I mean, I was on my square. I was on point. And, met her. She was at a grocery store. I said something. I don't remember what it was, but I was on point. Just in fuego. We went away for the weekend. It was great. And then I said, well, hey, let's drive to Miami, rent a convertible, and then drive to Key West. And she said, and I quote, I can't ride in the car for more than 3 hours, and I don't ride in convertibles because it will mess up my hair.
Sounds like me.
So my other tip, and I have to say it this way, so please excuse me, you can beep it out. Women, get out of your own fucking way. Please. Get out of your own way. So
that's good advice.
It is.
I'm just saying. I mean, no guy's perfect, and I'm not perfect. But I am secure enough when I meet my friend and she says, hey, I just want to talk to you about something. I don't like this, and I may not like that. And what do you think about this? Mm-hmm. And hey, here's how I want to be treated. Mm-hmm. I have to take that into consideration. And I just believe that we have to communicate that with each other and just be ready to be in that space.
All right, one last question that I have. Where's Ricky? Whatever happened to Ricky?
Look.
Oh, Karen and Ricky.
I can't speak for Ricky. I don't know. What I do know is, in thinking about my grandfather, what kind of man he was. And I can only aspire to be that man every day. And I see and think about examples like him. I think about a guy like Ossie Davis and the love he had for Ruby Dee. And I know it's fictional, but Claire Huxtable and all the little things he did for his family as well as Claire was the best example and the best food that, per se, were fed to us. Ricky, I can't speak to that. The only Ricky I know is Ricky don't lose my number. I'm dating myself, but we have to cut each other some slack. We have to cut each other some slack, and we have to be encouraged and we have to be hopeful, because that day is going to come where you're sitting down. And in my mind, I'm thinking about my granddad and grandma sitting down and just talking about everything under the sun, and nothing matters to you. And just one more quick story. One New Year's, my cousin came to visit with his girlfriend, and we went to the Apache back when the Apache was going on. It was New Year's. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I'd just broken up the year prior. And I was New Year's, a countdown, and I was, by myself, me and Guinness. I was sipping on a Guinness at that time. And I looked, and there was a couple that were so entwined with each other. And it was as if no one else was in the room. And I said to myself, someday I'm going to know what that's about. Someday I'm going to look across the room. We're going to be at a party. She's going to look at me. I'm going to look at her, and we're going to know it's time to go. So, I'm hopeful, and I am a romantic, and there's no greater joy that I get than breaking stereotypes versus breaking hearts. Like my pseudo player days thought I was doing, but I was really just playing myself and depriving myself of somebody good that could have enhanced my life.
Well, Darryl, thank you so much for joining us. It's been like a pleasure. It's been really awesome hearing from you, getting some advice and tips on what to do and what not to do. Is there anything you want to promote or any shout outs that you want to make?
I'd like to shout out my family. I want to say thank you for allowing me to grow and being the man that I'm becoming. My mom working very hard and making me come in the house at 6:00 and study my lesson. I appreciate you, so I'll give you a shout out. You're my best friend, and I want to shout out to the Noops. What's up, Noops? And just my friends. I'm just very blessed and fortunate. We've been able to build our business, Atlanta Brand Central, over the last 10 to 15 years and grow it into a place that allows us to live our dreams. And that's what we are doing. And I have a responsibility to my staff as well as our clients to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to make sure that they're successful. And I just wanted to publicly thank all of them for allowing us the opportunity to grow within the Atlanta area. And shout out to Atlanta. Thank you. Atlanta's been very, very good to me. So thank you.
And how can people connect with you on social?
abcatl.com. That's abcatl.com. Our contact number is 404-312-8777. And we'd love to hear from you. And I want to say this too. I've known these young ladies for quite some time. I'm inspired and encouraged by their hopeless, romantic notion of giving out information that's going to be helpful for us. And it's so refreshing to see two beautiful, intelligent sisters promoting the idea of love, because we don't get that. So this is a podcast and a platform that you should support. You support all the ratchet bullshit. You should support these sisters, please. That's all I'll say about that.
Thank you, Darryl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This episode was sponsored by Fertile Myrtle Publishing. Get your glamorous life set to manifest love, wealth, and a life of bliss. Available on Amazon.
Be sure to check out a brand new episode next Thursday. See you next time.